Hello, beautiful one. The video that you are going to see here is a live video that I have edited just a bit, but to allow you to see inside of a class session that I held with a student of mine for the Acasma Quantum Energy Foundations course that I teach. This student is Phil. He is an incredible, beautiful being of light, and his wife is Erin Worley. And Erin wrote the book called One Truth, One Law, I Am, I Create. And this is a very powerful, beautiful book. I began working with Erin in my course last year, 2020. And now this couple weeks here, and I have been working with her husband, Phil. Erin is an incredible being who is able to channel her I am within to bring forth greater understandings of what is going on and how to assist humanity. And Phil is able to receive the messages from this space of Erin, her I am, and they are able to then share with humanity. And so they had channeled a message just prior to the session class Phil and I were going to be having. And so Phil had some questions to see my inner knowing on the concepts and the understandings that they had spoken to the I am about through the channel work with Erin. So what you are about to experience here is not only going to bring a certain topic that is very, very prominent in many spaces of the spiritual world. I will say it is not very prominent in my spiritual world space. All the beautiful beings that I am working with, humans on this planet that are evolving into their highest light, they do not hold these beliefs, but there are many in the spiritual world that do. And so this topic is one that needs to be addressed and addressed accordingly, which is from love. No judgment on any, but from love. And so this is how this unfolds, okay? So take a look at the video. You'll also get an idea of the connectiveness, the presence that is in these Acasma Quantum Energy Foundation course classes. I meet the student right where they are at, and we move through whatever it is they are in that space for their greatest and highest good. And this day it was this, and it was birthing an even greater connectiveness than any of us really understand at this very point. But what Phil and myself and Erin are stepping into, and what we will be sharing even more on. Erin and I will be preparing some additional videos, and Phil and I maybe as well, but we are going to be bringing greater understanding, more clarity, sound mind, loving heart to this space to bring forth a truth, a new truth, a higher truth from the spaces of our highest light for all who feel a resonance with this understanding and with this work, and that you may join us in lifting this up, aligning this, anchoring this, and living from this space. So any questions, comment, feedback on the video, please leave them here below, or feel free to email me at andrea@sacredexpansion.com, and look for more information on this to be coming very soon. Thank you so much for walking with me, and thank you for allowing me to walk with you. Take a look at this.
I just had the most interesting conversation with Erin's inner voice. I am. You've heard about this thing going around the spiritual community about that, like there's going to be a split, and there's going to be like a 5D world, like a 3D world, or there's going to be like two Earths or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You've heard of those kind of things?
Yes, I've heard stuff about it. Yes.
And people are saying like the people are going to end up in this lower vibration world, and people don't get back, raise their vibration, will end up in this new world. And I asked the question. It had a lot to say. It was really interesting, but ultimately it's said, and I was like, well, if what they're saying is true, what do we want to call them? Satanists want and get all these people in their dimension or whatever. And I just don't like the idea of them winning. And I am said, well, so the answer is to take everybody with you. Mm. So I am said the answer is take all vaccinated people with you, and then leave themselves. So, and I know obviously you're operating in a much higher frequency than most people. So my question is, do you know how to do that? Like, well, how do you do that?
Okay, so you cut off a couple times, but I think I got the most of what you were saying, that the IM was allowing us to know that we have the ability to take everybody. Nobody has to be left behind. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Now I find this incredibly powerful, Phil, that we're having this conversation, the divinity of the timing and the concept, the topic, because I've grown into the understanding that this Acasma work actually restores DNA, and it actually raises the vibrational frequency in the individual human body, blood, and cells. I think that's connected into the possible damage that is being documented in many ways. I know that most of the stuff is related to that in the spiritual world. When they say they won't shift, they can't go, then the vibration won't be high enough or whatever. It's DNA related, that they believe that damages the DNA and keeps it from being able to open up to its full divine blueprint. Now you may have more information, because I don't watch a lot of people that teach this. So the concept of the two, and I've heard of it, but I'm not studied it. But I feel like you telling me that the IM said, take them with you. And you and I have this connection for a set of weeks that this happens to happen within. Then, and my understanding of what this work can do, I think it's connected. What do you think?
That's an interesting thought, that maybe we're supposed to be having this conversation right now. It's interesting that we had this conversation with IM right before I was talking with you. We're supposed to talk to you.
Hi, Andrea.
Hi, sweetheart. Hello, beautiful divine one.
I think I was just hearing right now, I think it's in total alignment that we just had this conversation. And now I was like, oh yeah, ask Andrea.
Yeah, I feel like it's all interwoven. It's all interconnected. Even the very first time Aaron and I spoke, that was pre laid out, orchestrated to happen in 2020. And all of this coming out in the year, how it all fits together. That's a huge connection, to take them with us. And the concept of a lot of the understanding behind why they wouldn't go if they had is because it distorts the DNA.
Yeah.
That's my understanding. I don't follow what they teach. I mean, I don't read about it and study it, but what I've heard is it actually alters human DNA consciously so that they can be more controlled. That's what I've heard. Whether it's a truth or not, I can't say. But the fact that when I began doing Acasma work in 2020, I didn't even know what it was yet or call it anything yet. I was just doing it. And I had mediums who were gifted in sight beyond the physical that didn't know each other. And they were reaching out to me from around the world. And they were saying, when I watch your videos, I can see DNA strands floating around you in the air. And so to have multiple people tell you this that don't know each other. And then I started putting more and things together and getting more inner knowing coming in. Had some channeled messages I automatically wrote. And that all happened in 2020. I didn't put it together because at that point we didn't hear about and what it would do. It was not of all that information wasn't out yet. But then you turn the corner into 2021, and I have people asking, if I get God, am I going to be able to ascend? Because they've been hearing this information you're talking about. I really think it's connected to the DNA. I think it's connected to the blood. And I think that we have the ability. I know we do in this work, and I can't imagine we're the only people on the planet that are doing work that can do this. I think there's like a team of us, like a large group of us across the planet that are doing this type of work that goes into the human body and restores the damage. The catch is, legally, I cannot run around and tell people that I can change their DNA. Like, so I can't put that out there that way. I can teach people I work with that this concept exists in the work. And then by word of mouth and intent and energy, we can do the work with anybody who finds us. Yes. And now I'm on TikTok. I have people coming from all over the world with, they don't even know how to speak English. And I'm having to use Google Translate all the time because they can feel a resonance with the energy and they know they
Right.
need to experience it. And they don't even know why, really. And you telling me this is making me solidify that even more. And that it happened today,
Yeah.
right before we're going to communicate here. So do you feel as if you're a messenger in a sense, that you're part of the...
Well, it's I've been a part of this from the beginning, back in 2011. I'm who I had all those conversations with. I am with. I don't know if you read our book, but yeah, obviously I am, because I am said, like, Aaron and I, our whole situation, it worked for a long time to get us together to be a part of something, and obviously Aaron learned how to start meditating and learn to channel and talk to IM and everything like that. And then I needed to be there at that time for the book to ask her the questions, to get the information out of her, to ask her the right questions and everything like that. So yeah, I'm kind of like, I'm pretty deep into stuff, what exactly my role is, I don't know, but I've definitely been a part of this whole process, of part of getting Erin to where she is. I'm just kind of really deep into this stuff. So yeah, maybe it needs somebody that's not on your guys' level to, I don't know, bring up the right questions or something like that. I don't know.
You just said 2 of the sessions Aaron
Two
did.
of the sessions, she said that she was told to do this work on their DNA. So she just did what she was told. She's like, that's interesting. I had 2 of them that I was told to do this. She's like, is it because they were vaccinated? Is that why? Because she doesn't ask. I know
Yeah, I
some
don't ask
people
either.
like you ask the people if they've been vaccinated. She doesn't ask that, but maybe that's a question we should be asking. She's like, well, I wonder if they've been vaccinated, and that's why I was told to do that. And this energy work you guys are doing, it's really interesting that you guys can make a video and have the intention that anybody watches this video will get the energy, and it works. So it's like it, and my 3D mind's like, well, how is that even possible? But it's real. If you can make a video that just affects anybody who watches it, could you go a step further? Like, why couldn't we go into universal mind and say, hey, we're going to do this DNA change for everybody? Just take now, and we just take everybody,
I love
or
it.
can we do energy work on everybody and just raise their vibration,
Yes, I believe that's absolutely possible. I do think free will still factors
Yeah, that's what Aaron said too.
in the sense that our planet lives underneath that in with universal law. So then they would, but I do believe that the higher self of the individual being does play a role. So sometimes when the now version can't see everything that it needs to see, if it's at a space of its consciousness enough in vibrational alignment with that higher alignment for healing of the DNA, if it's close enough, I think that there's something the higher self can come in and do to allow the receiving of. And I think that's how sometimes people get miracles and get healed of illnesses and diseases, and from people praying for them or sending
Yeah.
a healing session. I think because it can happen for a person who doesn't even know they're being prayed for. That's happened. It's documented. And so that, in my opinion, would be the being's higher self receiving for the being, because they're close enough vibrationally to be in that space of healing. Now, if it wasn't for their highest good, for whatever reason of the consciousness's journey, if it's not ready to move that quickly up to 5D and it needs some additional life experience that it wouldn't get if it jumped, that would be another thing that I think the higher self wouldn't receive it then, if that makes sense. But again, it's, to me, it's all energy alignment. It's all the beings, the consciousness's energy space. But that's my intention. When I do my YouTube, when I do my IGs, when I do my TikToks, I always go in to my space and my being. And I always say, whatever's for their highest good. I want to meet everyone right where they're at. People write in with all different types of experiences that make no sense to a third D reality,
Right.
but they are receiving it. So I think tapping in deeper to those who are ready, being able to receive that healing for the DNA, healing for the blood, the cell structure.
Could you create like maybe a mastermind of you type of light workers to like do some kind of work for like humanity as a whole? Would that be possible?
But I was intending it and facilitating it with my students to that it was present in the session period. Because we don't ask, have you had a, I don't ask what your religion is. I don't ask what your politics are. I just offer your highest good in that space and follow what's unfolding with the connective and the quantum. But they're trained, every Acasma healer is trained that this is connected to the box, it is connected to the DNA. It is why it came up in 2020. This healing modality showed up in 2020. But I'm open to your inner knowing and your understanding and your feedback, because I feel like there's a divine purpose right here.
Cool. Okay.
They're already trained to do the reconnection with the earth, the soul, and the sacred heart, which is the full being. So the IN floods in, the physical body holds the light, holds the consciousness, and the soul returns to itself. And that has to happen at the core so the DNA can then open and the original blueprint can be restored. And the blood vibration can rise, because that's very important. When the vibration in the blood rises, the being then hears beyond this now. It's like the dial on a radio. So it is in there being taught. Are you guys okay? And you can think about it if you don't want to answer for Aaron, but are you guys okay with me sharing the understanding of the I am concept of no one has to be left behind because of that?
I think that's really important because, as Ian was explaining, the whole idea that anybody who takes this vaccine is going to be left behind is kind of in itself a lower vibrational thought.
That's great. Yeah, I don't
No,
entertain it. When people ask me
exactly.
if it's true, I say that I don't believe that myself. And I know
Right.
that my work heals them. So I don't have to worry that I'm telling them the wrong thing, because I know that in the session, their DNA is going to be restored. So
Right.
I have had people ask me point blank in group settings with a lot of people, present watching, and they'll say, I got this. Am I going to get left? And I mean, people are scared.
Yeah. And I think that's what they want. They want people to be scared.
Fear.
And, where did this idea that everybody who vaccinated is going to be left behind? Because I'm sure there's perfectly good people that meant well when they got vaccinated.
I have clients that I know, like, been with me for a year and they got it, but they were under the impression that it meant they were helping the world.
That's exactly what I am said. There's people that really, really believe, they came to it from a point where they believe they were helping the world.
It wasn't even fear of getting the
It
thing.
wasn't. Yeah, they didn't come to it from because they're really pushing this fear based. You better get the vaccine, or bad things are going to happen, and most people are getting out of fear. But not everybody got it out of fear. Some people got it out of a very optimistic outlook. So it's like, couldn't those people still rise their vibration, you know?
I believe we have proof that they can and they do, because I have clients and students that have been with me prior to getting the
Mhm.
process of getting the after the and they are continuing to expand consciously. They are continuing to see their gifts come online. They are
Right.
continuing to witness these things you can't explain. And
Right.
so if they were pushed backwards genetically and unable to expand because of it, that we wouldn't have that proof showing up.
Right.
Do you think we should share this concept like that?
I think it would be important to put this concept out there to get more people, especially people like you, thinking this and telling this to people. Like, there's no reason anybody has to be left behind. Why don't we just leave all the Satanists behind? You know, but they can hang out by themselves, you know, because, you know, the way I looked at it, I was like, well, if they get what they want and they keep all these people in this third dimension and it splits and they got all this, you know, millions of people there and they can do whatever they want with them. Well, they won. They got what they wanted, you know? And it's like, well, yeah, you and I are on this other path, you know, but ultimately we're all connected. We're all one. You know, I don't want half of me being over in this other
Good for you.
place.
I love that saying.
You
That's
know?
beautiful, Phil. Oh,
Yeah.
I love it. I love that.
So should we really be looking at this from a selfish perspective? And we're like, well, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be up in the fourth or fifth dimension, but who cares about you guys when they are us, you know? But does it really have to be that way? Or is this just an idea that's been put out there that, and us thinking this and sharing this idea, we're creating that? Or can we just decide to create something else, you know? Because if we are these, you know, ultimately we are all
Yes.
source, you know, infinite intelligence. Why don't we just create what we want to create? You know, why don't we come from a place where we can decide what we want this future to be and be like, let's just bring everybody there and create something better.
Yes. Yes. That's it. That's it. That's completely it. And the difference is fear or love.
Right.
If more of us do this, it'll spread faster.
Right.
And of course, we have to be very mindful, I guess, of how we present it, because there are a lot of, well, we'll just do our best and we'll hold the creative space that it will be protected and taken into as many spaces as it can to be received. This is actually really powerful. I don't know if you're open to me taking this video and cutting it up a bit, and I can send you a piece of the thing first and you can see if you're cool with it. And then we could
Okay.
put Erin's information below as well, because she's involved in this, so that people can reach out to her, contact her as well. But yeah, I think what's happening is we're diffusing like I know, and this makes it sound like smaller, but it's much bigger than this, but it's just an analogy possibly, but we're diffusing like a fear bomb, like something that
Yeah.
is an illusion in a sense, and can only be a reality if it is fed the energy it needs
Right.
to exist.
Exactly. If everybody believes that there's going to be these two realities and all these people are going to be stuck there, then that's what we're creating. You know, if everybody believes that, then especially people on a higher vibration, people,
Yeah, we
you
need
know,
them
operating,
to tap
and-
in and
right,
yeah.
and go, well, that's a silly thought. Why are we creating that? Why don't we put our focus on creating? Everybody goes with us to this new future, because obviously
We have the
things are
ability.
happening right now. Things are
Yes.
happening right now. Things are
And-
changing.
And we don't even have, I don't say this out of fear. I say this out of like more scientific reality, but we don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
We need people to
Things are
hear
happening
as
fast.
soon as possible. Yes.
Right.
Yes. But at the same time, the minute this information hits enough spaces of consciousness that give it the focus it needs to anchor, it will solidify and energetically
Yeah.
shift the whole landscape.
Yeah, it'll start to spread. People will start thinking of stuff like,
Yeah.
where did I get that idea from?
Yeah.
You know, when enough people start thinking it, they'll pick
Yeah.
up on it.
And everything's faster now. So as much as we don't
Mhm.
have enough time because everything's faster, the minute we get this out to the right spaces, that will go as fast as well. It
Mhm.
won't take long. I love it. I love it. My heart feels it. My being feels it. I know it's completely aligned with the work I do and why I'm here.
Right.
So thank you for bringing it forth. Thank you for asking the questions. Thank you, Aaron, for channeling the messages, bringing forth the understandings.
Mhm.
And I'm really appreciative of your view, Phil, where you see, I love that line where you say, why would I leave a part of me here or whatever you say, how
Right.
you,
If we're all connected, you know,
yeah, that's
like,
so important. That's the space that if we all align with that, everything changes.
right. That's what we have to really embody if we want to go where everybody's talking about going. That's the space that we have to be in, you know.
And it is, in a sense, here, but it's just a vibrational space of difference in a sense. Like the densities that would be happening on a 3D space of existence would not be able to happen in a 5D if we look at them in numerical spaces, but it's all vibration. This is my side of the understanding, but I love converse and conversation
Yeah.
brings more understanding. But the things, the atrocities we see on the earth that we know are happening behind the scenes,
Mhm.
like that can't exist in the vibrational space of what humans are beginning to align up into, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
There will be those who don't want to leave it in a sense because they may be deeply
Yeah.
embedded in it themselves and their
That's true.
consciousness is not at a space of even seeing that, because it truly is like you can't see certain things if your consciousness is not at that vibration or close
That
enough to it.
that's really interesting because I just had that conversation with Iam and it was explaining it to me. You know, people in the third dimension don't see or experience things. Well, they can right now, but I am saying like as the split starts to happen, people in the third dimension will stop being able to see people that are operating on the fourth, fifth dimension. You
Yeah.
know, and this the divide's going to get further and further, and the people that stay on the third dimension will get left behind, but they don't have to be. They can be brought up if we choose to bring everybody up.
I love that. I love that, especially coming from my background, because I was raised with fundamental Christianity. And
Mm-hmm.
I always, as a little kid, I couldn't wrap my head around God leaving anyone because I
Mm-hmm.
learned about the end times and prophecy and the rapture and tribulation and all these things. And it didn't make sense to me. And now having this conversation here with you, and you saying those profound words of why would I leave part of me here,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, to me, that is the echo of God acknowledging itself in
Mm-hmm.
all spaces. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like the enormity of the love that is present in that thought process and in that consciousness. It's really, really beautiful. I didn't expect this at all today, Phil.
I didn't either. I just it was I don't even know why. Yeah, we just had that conversation just now.
Wow.
So
Well, I'm in full alignment that it's divine. It was destined to come out at this moment.
mm-hmm.
We're not ahead of schedule, but we're not behind. We're right
Yeah.
on time. And that we just allow ourselves to trust ourselves, trust our inner knowing, continue to move forward, and stepping out, following our hearts, listening to the inner knowing. If you get more understanding, sharing it. If I get more understanding, sharing it. and changing the landscape, changing the playing field. I feel like, in a sense, and I don't mean this conceited at all, I mean this joyous. I mean this joyous. But it's like in the movies when they always do this in movies, the bad guy's almost about to take out the good guy, and you got to get to that space where it's just like, I can't watch anymore. And then all of a sudden the cavalry comes in, or the good guy rises up for one last, and he's able to overcome. And I feel like this is like the space we're on right now, where it's like, wait a minute, like you said, we have the ability to change this. We have the ability to change this, and to then put this in motion. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Just gotta share this idea. Losing my voice. Just gotta share this idea,
Yeah, we will. And see, that's okay. That's throat center. That's your authenticity, because you're expanding. So your energy center in your throat, you're speaking your truth. So your energy center is actually like shifting and clearing and expanding to accommodate you, because more of you is coming through. And it's beautiful. Think about it, because you're actually doing that right now, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Let's do that, because I feel like this is definitely a team collective, a collective of consciousnesses coming in for this divine grand purpose. And it's so beyond what we're really even able to fathom. I mean, this is a species, this is humanity, an
Right.
entire planet. I love this stuff. I love it. I love it. It's so incredibly powerful and beautiful. So thank you for bringing it into my path. I'm honored to align with you and Aaron, and the I am within Aaron and the I am within you. So thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Aaron. Please share my love with her as well. Okay.
I will. Thank you, Andrea. I will.
All right. I'll talk to you soon, Phil.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.